Hello everyone, how's it going? My name is Ellias, and in today's video I'll be talking about all the books I want to read for the month of February. So I would say that this month's TBR is pretty ambitious, not gonna lie. Giving myself some options because one, it's my birthday, I'll be turning 27. Ugh, so fucking old, almost in my 30s, and even though, not gonna lie, I'm a little apprehensive getting older, I'm still looking forward to turning the big 3-0, if you get what I mean. I know that personally for me, I'm still just weirded out, and it's just so strange to me how I'm so old and yet still so young at the same time. You know, when I go around telling people my age, it's sort of like a shock factor at first because they're like, you're 27 or 26? And I'm like, yeah. They're giving me off of that vibe where I'm like, are you new here? And they're like, yeah. So I also have another video coming out next week, but this video will be the last video where I'll be 26. In the next subsequent videos you'll see from me, I'll be a year older, a year wiser. No, dumber maybe, perhaps. Another thing is that I'll be moving in a couple of months. This will be really scary, really tough, and really stressful because I remember last year when I moved around during this time. It was something I was not looking forward to. I don't know how I did it back then. To think that I have even more stuff than last year. All the stuff that I have accumulated in like the past year or so, it's just mind-boggling. Like all of these fucking books, like I am this close to just getting rid of everything. Like I'm just like, fuck all these books. You know, because moving 30 plus boxes of all these books, and it wasn't even that far. It was from San Jose to San Francisco. But this time I'll be moving from San Francisco to LA. Your boy over here is basically becoming another LA boy. So yeah, I'm pretty excited, but I'm also very stressed out. But anyways, we're just here taking it a step at a time. So with that being said, before we get further into any of these books, I would like to take a minute to talk about today's video sponsor. Ready?
Yes.
Thank you to Book of the Month for sponsoring today's video. So if you guys didn't know, already I've been working with Book of the Month for like the past, I want to say almost a year and a half now at this point. I love working with them. They come in clutch. They're literally giving me my bread, food, and water, and life every month. So thank you. Thank you, Book of the Month.
It's true. He's coming in close with the rent. Book of the Month is the reason why Ellias is not out on the streets right now.
So Book of the Month is a super fast and popular online growing book service for readers whose mission is to promote new and emerging authors to help readers discover the books they love. So every month, Book of the Month vets through hundreds of books to choose the top 5 books in the selection you see here.
Wow, that means I can spend less time researching and more time reading new books to discover my favorite ones.
And one of the best absolute things about BOTM is that they're completely risk-free, meaning if you're not vibing with that month's selections of books, you can totally skip it and you won't be charged. Alright, with that being said, let's go ahead and take a look at this month's selection. First up, we have Peach Blossom Spring by Melissa Fu.
This is pretty cover. Support Asian authors.
Next, we have A River Enchanted by Rebecca Ross.
This is a thick boy, like 500 pages.
I'm a thick boy. You love that about me, though.
Mm-hmm.
Next up, we have Don't Cry For Me by Daniel Black.
This is the one that I started reading last night. I'm like 50 pages in. It's really good so far.
Next, we have The Golden Couple by Greer Hendricks and Sarah Buchanan, 2 of thriller authors I have read from before. And last but not least, we have Vladimir by Julia May Jonas. We have a perfectly hot dad bod on this cover.
That's not a dad bod.
Yes, that is. This is totally a dad bod.
I think his body looks too toned.
No, this like dad bods are like toned, but like also
hairy.
Yeah, like dad bods. Like they're cuddly, like a teddy bear. Guys, let me know down in the comments below, okay?
I feel like a dad bod needs to have like a bit more of a belly. And
he does have a belly. This is total dad bod. Guys, if you want to see this cover up front and up close, you guys can use my code Ellias to get your first book for Book of the Month. And if this happens to be your pick, you can let me know down in the comments below.
Is it a dad bod or not? I say no. I say no.
Yes, it is.
We'll let the commenters decide.
It's a total dad bod, okay?
Would you date a dad named Vladimir?
Oh, heck yeah. That's hot. All right, once again, thank you to Book of the Month for sponsoring today's video, and back to regular broadcast. Alright, so with that being said and done, let's go ahead and get straight into the books. Okay, so let me introduce you to some of the late night book club picks. So for the month of January, we're actually reading Frankenstein by Mary Shelley. The live show for this book won't be happening until the 12th or the 13th. The time will be to be determined. So keep a lookout for that. You can follow us on our Discord and our Instagram where we will be announcing the live show date. And so that'll be the book pick for our January book club. For February, we're actually reading Loveless by Alice Oseman. I've actually read from this author before. I've read Heartless, like the graphic novel series, and I enjoyed it. I thought it was cute. I thought it was, you know, fluffy, adorable, but it wasn't anything for me substantially deep or whatever. I know that they're coming out with a Netflix adaptation. I am curious to see the adaptation and how that'll all go, but other than that, I have not read any of Alice's notable books. I know that they are super popular within the book community because everyone and anyone who I've seen reading contemporary romance have talked about her books. So this one will be interesting for me because personally I am looking forward to seeing sort of the ace rep that this book has to offer, but those are the two book club picks. Alright, so going into the actual books, so this one I'm actually currently reading already, just because I couldn't finish it in time within the month of January. This is the final book in the Farseer trilogy by Robin Hobb, and this is Assassin's Quest. Okay, you guys, I will be talking more about this book in a wrap-up, but holy fucking shit. I honestly have not read such good fantasy in such a long time. It was like coming home. That feeling of reading a good book, but a good fantasy book at that. That boost of serotonin when you read it and it hits you in all the right feels and all the right ways. It just truly hits different. I kid you not when I tell you that this series is the best intro to fantasy books I've ever read. If you're somewhat hesitant to dive into fantasy head first within like the world building, the chaos, the magic system, the characters, and just the storytelling, everything about it overall, I feel like this series is a really great place to start. It's a very slow burn, slow build up where you get to really know these characters and their backstory. And if you like history, it's like really embedded in there where you learn about these cultures, its people, and its story and the histories. And everything about it for me was just really easy to read about. And so far I'm on the third book, but I flew through the first and second book. And each book gets consecutively longer. So don't be nervous or thrown by the size of this book. This is the last book and I believe it's like around 800 pages, but I fucking love it and I'm here for it. The series primarily follows this young boy who is bastard born of this king. And so when he is taken back to the keep as a young boy, he's basically ignored by everyone because of his status. However, because of this, he is trained as a young assassin and the journey just starts from there. If you're really into like heavy political intrigue within like the castle and the court within its members, then the series might be for you. And the magic system in of itself is just very interesting to read about. It's almost in a way where the author uses like different words for what we know as like, you know, telepathy or telekinesis. She uses like very basic terminology to describe certain things. And it was just honestly really refreshing to read. And honestly, I would not read the blurb for each subsequent book if you have not yet read the first, because it does spoil what happens in the previous books. So if you're looking for a great fantasy series to read and binge, highly, definitely recommend. Alright, so speaking of fantasy, in my previous video I asked all of you guys, what are some great adult fantasy recs? And so many of you guys came through that I possibly might be doing a video just reading all the fantasy books that you guys recommended. But amongst those, this book I've seen popping up everywhere. You guys are recommending it to me left and right, and this is Jade City by Fonda Lee. I've heard so many fantastic and good things about this book series in general, and the fact that a lot of you guys have loved it really sets the bar really high for me with this one. So I'm very intrigued going in because this primarily follows a group of people who live on an island who are able to wield certain abilities and powers through certain means of wearing jade. I think that's the gist of what I got reading the blurb, but I kind of want to go into this knowing very little just because I feel like there are so many pleasant surprises going in. This one's also another really thick book as well, but this one isn't my highest priority to read for this month in February, so we'll see. So this next book I've been wanting to read for a really long time, ever since I saw the cover last year, and this is Rainbow Milk by Paul Mendez. I feel like this cover alone, you know, it's just really stunning. It's simple, but it's there. So this one primarily follows two distinct POVs. We follow this Xboxer named Norman Alonso in the 1950s, where he is moving his family from Jamaica to Britain to secure a brighter future. And in another POV, we follow 19-year-old Jesse McCarthy as he struggles with his racial and sexual identities with his Jehovah's Witness upbringing. So this does sound really intense, and according to some of the blurbs in the back, this is sort of like a graphic erotica. So I'm very curious to see how that'll all play out. Alright, so next up we have Memorial by Bryan Washington. Okay, so this is a literary fiction about two men who are a couple who live together. One is a black daycare teacher and the other is a Japanese-American chef working at a restaurant. However, as in all relationships, there are some rocky obstacles that they sort of have to overcome and rethinking about the future that they have with each other. And so with his father dying in another country, he flies out to Japan to spend his last moments with him, while his mother, his Japanese mother, flies back and becomes temporary roommates essentially with the daycare teacher. And so both of them sort of go through this self-reflective, transformative period within their lives, just questioning what life has to offer within themselves, and it's supposedly really funny and poignant as well, and so I'm really looking forward to reading this one. And so finally, last and not least, we have To Paradise by Hanya Yanigihara. I'm actually not even sure if I'll be able to read and finish this book within this month, let alone next month as well. Because, you know, within the next couple of months, like I said before, I'll be moving. I'm not even too sure if I'll be able to keep up and read all these books, but here's to hoping that I'll be able to. So I've actually planned on doing a reading vlog for this one, but with everything that's going on right now, we shall see. So you all already know I adore and love Hanya. She absolutely crushed and broke my heart, as many of you can relate, I'm sure, with A Little Life. I'm not really comparing or expecting this book to be as great or significant as A Little Life at all whatsoever. I'm just really curious to see what this book has to offer, because if Hanya's name wasn't attached to this book, I don't think I would be reading it, because it does not sound like something I would pick up. It primarily follows these 3 distinct POVs, almost 3 separate stories, and how they all basically interconnect within this alternate timeline of the worlds that they live in. And yeah, that's pretty much all I know about it. I actually have not heard a lot of people talking about this book in general, so very curious and somewhat hesitant to see how this book will go. Alright, so that is pretty much it. Please let me know down in the comments below what books you guys are planning on reading this particular month, and if you guys have read or picked up any of these books in this video. Thank you so much for watching, guys, and I will see you all soon with a new video. Every month, Book of the Month vets through hundreds of books from early... Every month, Book of the Month vets... Every month, Book of the Month vets through hundreds of books. No. Every month, Book of the Month vets through new and early release titles.
Yeah, but wait, let me cut in when you say, like, you just said your previous line about, like, wow, that means I have to spend less... Wait, hold on. I can say, okay, you want to talk about the books now? So this is one you picked, right?
So I'm going to hand it to you and be like, okay, so let's do this.
Okay.
And you just pass it on. Alright, so now with that... Alright, so with that being said, let's go ahead and get... Alright, so with that being said, let's... Alright, so let's... This is literally my bloopers all the time. This is why it takes me forever to film. Next up, we have Don't Cry For Me. Ugh! And so that'll be the book pig. And so that'll be the book pig. And so that'll be the book pig. And so that'll be the book... And so that'll be the book pig. Ugh. And so when he's taken to... And so when he's taken... And so when he's taken... And so when he is taken to... And so when he's taken to... And so... And so when he's taken back to his... And so when he's taken back... And so when he's taken back... And so when he's taken back into... No, into the keep. And so when he is taken back... And so when he is taken back to the keep, he is basically And so when he's